We should have the greatest military in the world. We should have the greatest economy in the world. We should have the greatest manufacturing in the world. We should have everything, certainly education. There's nothing, and we're ranked, 30th in the world? And by the way, on a percentage of money spent per kid, we were like 20 times the next highest country, and yet we're failing on this. And we're failing with the border, and we're failing with the military, and we're failing with our vets, and we're failing with just about everything else. And my father wanted to do this, and I'll never forget, I was right next to him when Hillary Clinton called. I tell the story once in a while. In fact, I have a picture that came across my phone like 2 days ago. So it's when he was on the cell phone, you can only imagine the voice on the other end. I can see it through his face as only a son can. Does that make sense? And you hear her voice and just how puffy. Not many of us are big fans, clearly. And that was a great moment. That was a great moment. And I told the story this morning to a couple people that are in this room. But 12 minutes after that phone call was made, the Washington Post does an article. This is when the impeachment of Donald Trump begins. They didn't even give the guy a damn shot. He won decisively. This wasn't like a close election. He won decisively in terms of the delegate count and everything else. They didn't even give him a shot. It was the Washington, D.C. system. It was the crooked media. And we have plenty of it in this country. And they knew that they knew that the Russia thing was coming. I was the guy that got the phone calls from the Washington Post and the New York Times, right? Remember, Michael Sussman goes into the FBI headquarters. We believe that the Trump organization is communicating directly with Russia through secret servers that they had in the basement. So I get a call from the Washington Post first and the New York Times second. We hear you're communicating with the Kremlin. I go, is this April Fool's? Like, I'm literally looking at my watch. We hear you're communicating with the Kremlin. I go, yeah, you have Secret Service in the basement from power. I can assure you don't have Secret Service in the basement. First of all, you don't have servers, as I explained to some people today, in basements because basements flood. Let's just start with the obvious, right? Second of all, a lot of the world is based on cloud computing now. You don't really even have servers, so this whole narrative was junk. So then Michael Sussman leaves. He calls up the New York Times, the Washington Post, and you know what he says? He says, the FBI, apparently, the FBI is investigating the Trump organization. So the New York Times, Washington Post, calls the FBI, are you investigating the Trump organization? We can't comment. And this is the beginning of the Russia investigation, which was paid for by Hillary Clinton. The guy didn't even assume office yet, and the powers to be, the corruption of Washington, D.C., were already trying to destroy his life, destroy my life, go after Don. You remember Adam Schiff going out saying Don was an agent of Russia? They didn't give the guy a chance. Then they impeach him once, and that was all nonsense as we came out to see. Then they impeach him twice, and they go after Kavanaugh viciously making up all these rumors and slanders. They try and destroy him there. And despite that, he had the lowest unemployment in the history of the country, the lowest female unemployment, the lowest Hispanic unemployment, the lowest African American unemployment, the lowest youth unemployment, the largest tax cuts in the history of our nation. The largest. Peace in the Middle East. He fought like hell for religious freedom. He fought like hell for the Second Amendment and all the things that we care about. He rebuilt the military, built the greatest military around. He's the only president in history that never got America into a war. You remember Hillary would go around the place and she would, he doesn't have the temperament to be president. He can't have his finger on the... It's funny, it's the exact temperament that you want as a president because no one would challenge the United States of America because you had somebody in there that has a great backbone and strength and cared and didn't sell his family and his influence to every country around the world, including Ukraine and China and Romania and everybody else. His kids were not on the payroll, to say the least, unlike a counterpart that we have right now. And what's really interesting is the media does nothing about it. They know exactly what's happening. They know that whole family, grandkids were taking massive amounts of money from foreign countries while he was VP. For what? For what product was he selling? I always ask that question. I ask that question like 30 times a day. What we do? We do hotels and golf courses and stuff. What the hell product? By the way, we have a lot of John Deere. If anybody's affiliated with John Deere in this room, aside from a couple of big farms, we're probably more John Deere than just about anybody. They're the greatest machines, and we love that grain. But everybody knows the answer to that question. What was he selling? What product was he selling? What website did he have? Did he have a website? How can you make $10 million off of these various countries and literally not have a website, even advertising your services? Like, you could be a small pizzeria and have a website, but yet somebody who's taking that much money in from around the world for various quote-unquote services on that website is going through about 400 different shell companies. Give me a break. The whole world understands exactly what it is, but guys, they never gave him a chance. They wanted to attack him. They wanted, despite that, he was the greatest president that the country had seen. He restored strength. And I mentioned the story to somebody. You always tell the story that, Obama told him that day, when they did the transition of government, Obama told him, he goes, listen, you will be at war with North Korea next year. You will, 100%. They're out of control. There's no stopping them. They're creating nuclear weapons, all sorts of things. You will be at war with North Korea. And you see these images where, Obama and Kamala and all these people are looking through these massive binoculars in North Korea from like 25 miles away. And then you have that parallel with the fact that the worst enemy that we had under the previous administration to him, was about to go to war. And a couple months later, just based on power and calling him Little Rocket Man and him telling him that he had a much bigger button, and that his button actually freaking worked, right? And beating him a little bit, and beating him up around the world, and embarrassing him, and all sorts of other things that he did, right? A lot of things behind the scenes. But, all of a sudden, a couple months later, he's walking across that invisible line between, South Korea and then into North Korea. The Secret Service did not like this. I can tell you that. They were not exactly thrilled that, the President of the United States was walking into a, pretty tough country that not many Americans get to go in. But it's really amazing. He developed relationships with all the toughest people in the world. All the toughest world leaders loved him. Who didn't like him, and I said this earlier, a lot of the meek world leaders. Why is it that the meek people never really got along with Trump, but the tough ones? He did great with Turkey, Erdogan. He did great with everyone. He did great with Japan. He did actually great, surprisingly, with China, even though there was no president in the history of this country that was tougher on China than him. He actually did decently well with him because, honestly, he drew a line and he wasn't going to get pushed around. He wasn't going to be coerced and he couldn't be bought. And they knew he was no games. And when Iran started having nuclear scientists that were, nuclear scientists, but also people who were creating all the IEDs and things in Iraq, guess what? They took them out with a Reaper drone, and every single world leader paid a lot of attention to that, saying, America's willing to act. They're building the greatest army. They've rebuilt their forces. They're ordering the greatest planes on planet Earth. And it was a piece of your strength. He did a remarkable job. And you compare that to the current administration right now, and I'm not sure, and honestly, I give somebody credit if credit was due. I'm not sure if I can come up with a single quantitative metric right now today that's working. What's working? The fact that oil prices went through the absolute roof. My father had the lowest oil prices in the history of the nation. Remember? You remember he filled up the petroleum reserves for like peanuts? He was buying oil for like $1.28. It was unbelievable. So he picked it within like a day or two of the lowest, locked into a massive, filled up the whole energy reserves, which Biden ends up using to try to win him re-election. You probably remember that. He drained the entire petroleum reserves, which, by the way, are meant for national defense, not meant for, trying to win yourself an election when you're grossly unpopular because you drive gas prices. So Biden comes in the first day. What does he do? He cancels the Keystone XL pipeline. Gas prices go through the roof. Then next day he comes out and says there's going to be a war on all fracking, all drilling, all this, all that, all ethanol, everything. Instant war on all forms of energy. Guess what? Gas prices go through the roof. So what follows gas prices? Inflation, right? And what else happens? Russia becomes rich. Our enemies become rich. Iran becomes rich. Russia becomes rich. It's awfully easy to fight a war against Ukraine when you're selling energy for $120 a barrel. It's awfully tough to fight a war when your greatest commodity as a country is at $25, $30 a barrel. It bankrupts them. It bankrupts our enemies. And beyond that, we were energy independent under Donald Trump, so we were sending oil and gas from the United States over to Europe. So we were making money. America was profiting off of it. Russia was making absolutely nothing. They couldn't fight wars. They couldn't enrich themselves. Same thing with Iran. And instead what happens? Energy prices go through the roof. Every time we go fill up at the pump, we get absolutely hammered. It's 3 times as expensive. But then the administration goes out and they spend $250 billion fighting a war on the other side of the globe. They shouldn't have happened. Guess whose money that is? That's your money. That's your taxpayer money. So not only are you paying more, not to make anybody depressed in this room, but not only are you paying more at the pump, but you're spending $250 billion of our money that can go into having the greatest schools in the world, that can have the greatest manufacturing in the world, that can take care of vets in this country, that can be used for awesome programs that can benefit so many people. And guess what? We're paying for that. And you know how much Germany's contributed? Less than 10%. And they're not even contributing to NATO and other things. I mean, it's a joke. So guess what? We have skyrocketing inflation. Eggs go up 67%. Everything goes up. Heating oil. Heating oil goes through the absolute roof. I mean, there was a time where literally at Home Depot, 2x4s were like $16, $17 a 2x4. Everybody here remembers that. Sheets of plywood were $80. It was insane. Our entire supply chain was absolutely shot and went to garbage. And you know where Pete Buttigieg was, our great Secretary of Transportation? When nothing was on the shelves and a piece of plywood cost $80, Pete Buttigieg went on paternity leave. Because why wouldn't you leave all the shelves in the country empty and go on a hiatus? And when Kamala Harris became border czar, you know where she went? She went to Vietnam, because if you become border czar and you have a massive immigration problem and they're overrunning our southern border, tens of millions of people a year, why not go to Vietnam if you're border czar? I mean, think about that. And then you have the disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan. Where's Joe Biden? He's in Delaware, because after a 20-year war, spending trillions of dollars over there and losing thousands of people and having thousands of people injured, probably people in this room right now. Why wouldn't you be in Delaware as literally the Taliban is chasing us out of one of the greatest military installations which we paid for anywhere on Earth? It's a clown show. It's a clown show. And, he needs this job with a hole in the head. I say that every single day. I say that on repeat. The last thing that I can tell you Donald Trump needs is the presidency and this headache and this job. If he was to announce that he wasn't running, they would leave him alone overnight, right? Because all they're trying to do is keep him off the ticket. You saw that in Maine this week. You saw that in Colorado, as absurd as that is. He lived a much better life, but the country is truly going down the tubes based on incompetence. And you have to wonder if it was, I truly do believe it's intentional. But, it's too severe to be incompetence. It's too severe to be incompetence at this point. And then you look at every single system that's been weaponized in this country. Education's been weaponized. Higher education, you're seeing what's happening in Harvard right now. Think about it. You have the president of Harvard that can't say that the genocide of Jewish people is not allowed on the Harvard campus? Tell me that's not like the easiest question that any person in the history has ever been asked. And their response is it's based on context. Oh, we have our minds. There's no context to that. It's just wrong. It's wrong. You see what they did in Loudoun County and the incredible moms in Loudoun County. Thank God for moms, by the way. Thank God for moms. I truly mean that. I've got the greatest wife in the world who, thank God she does the job that she does with our kids. But you saw these moms stand up and fight like hell and change around that whole system. They were indoctrinating children. There's revisionist history of each one of our kids. And there's nothing more precious and nothing more sacred to all of us than our kids, and having them grow up with American spirit and American being. But they weaponize those industries. They weaponize the FBI. They weaponize the DOJ. They've corrupted the military. The military is more interested right now in changing the name of bases. Was anybody here stationed at Bragg? Thank you. Well, now Bragg is officially Fort Liberty, because apparently the name offended somebody. They're doing the same thing with Camp Lejeune and a lot. So would you say the greatest military installation anywhere on the face of the earth? I think it's the largest. I'm pretty sure it's the largest anywhere on earth. It's incredible. How much money and time do they spend debating names of why? the history, the lineage that had. I mean, this is what they're focused on. They're not focused on winning wars. They're focused on DEI. They're focused on nonsense. They're sensitivity training. Do we really want sensitivity training in our military? I kind of want anti-sensitivity training in our military. By the way, should we call Donald Trump and see if he picks up the phone? He's at dinner at Mar-a-Lago right now. Let me see if he's there. Hold on 1 second. He always picks up. He's good with the cell phone. Hey, Pops, I'm in Iowa with an incredible group of people. There's tremendous support at the stage. There's a tremendous amount of media here. We're going to win the state in a very, very big way. I'm telling everybody that they've got to go out and caucus because we're going to put DeSantis to bed. I think Hillary might be in bed. And Haley's not doing too well either, especially after that. I'm not sure if you saw her comment today. It wasn't exactly artful, but I think she upset most of Iowa. But say hi to the entire crowd.
Well, I just want to thank everybody and always remember we got the farmers of Iowa $28 billion. That's a lot of money. And I can't think about Joe Biden doing that. He wouldn't even think about it and he wouldn't know how to do it. But I just want to say we have had a great relationship with Iowa, with the farmers and everybody else. We got a lot of other people in Iowa that do an incredible, productive job. And we love you. I'm going to be coming out there on Friday. I'm going to be there Friday and Saturday. Then I'm coming back the following week. And I'm going to caucus probably in Des Moines. I'll be doing caucus with you. We're going to work it, and we can't take any chances. And everybody has to get out because we don't want to sit back and rely on the polls. We have to take our country back. Biden is destroying our country at the border with our military, with interest rates, with every single thing. With energy, look at energy costs. Your energy costs have tripled. Your food costs have tripled. So I just want to say I look forward to seeing you on Friday. We love you all, and I hope my son is doing a great job because he always has done a great job.
Very much, Dad. Have a great dinner, and I'll speak. By the way, I'm standing between the two most beautiful John Deere tractors you've ever seen in your entire life. My father's a big fan of John Deere and everything John Deere, and so we're in the heartland. And
John Deere equipment, they're great company. Good luck, everybody. I'll see you on Friday. So long.
Here's the guy that I called him. And I'll never forget this, and maybe Giuliani was in his office in New York, and this was obviously when he's in private industry, and long before politics, long before the apprentice and everything else as a little kid. And the guy picked up his phone every time. It didn't matter if there was a president in his office, it didn't matter if there was a mayor in his office, he picked up the phone. Hi Eric, say hi to Mr. Giuliani. Hi Eric, say hi to whoever the person was, never. He was a guy who always picked up his phone for his 3 kids, every single time. And as we went to school every morning, I'd always go give him a kiss, and he'd always say, Eric, 3 things. No drinking, no drugs, and no smoking. Every single morning, and I'm sitting there, I'm a 5-year-old kid, Dad, what the hell is drinking? Like apple juice type drinking, like Kool-Aid? I didn't really quite get that, right? And Dad, what's smoking, right? Or what's drugs? I don't really understand the concept of any of these, but every single day, you keep that into our heads. No drinking, no drugs, no smoking. You better get ambient grades, right? Which is, I have high expectations for you. You better work incredibly hard. He was amazing. Truly an amazing dad. We need a lot more of that in society. And I look again. I don't mean to bring this back up, but I look at counterparts that are in there right now, and a lot of drinking, a lot of drugs, a lot of smoking, a lot of other things, a lot of corruption, unruly pets. I don't get that. Like, how hard is it to mess up a German Shepherd, right? They're like the greatest dogs ever, yet half my ex-Secret Service guys have gotten bitten by that dog like 12 times. It's unbelievable. That dog bites everything. So, you screw up your one side, you screw up your pets. I mean, it just doesn't. Everybody's corrupt. Everybody's not. The guy was truly remarkable. And certainly the 5 of us were always on the straight and narrow. at 11, it's when you're going to be out on construction sites, or you're going to be cutting rebar with acetylene torches, or you're going to be doing plumbing and electrical, you're going to be running tractors and backhoes and chainsaws and digging holes, and you're going to make minimum wage, and sometimes below that, and you're going to learn the value of a dollar, and if you're good at this stuff, you can maybe come into the company at the very base level, and if you're not, you'll find something else to do, and you will work hard, you will be the first person up and the last person to go to bed, and I just wish you could instill the values. He's a remarkable man, but, I told you before that he was going to pick up, right? He always picks up. He always picks up the phone on his kids, and it's a great lesson for me, and one that I try and implement, probably not as well as he did, to tell you the truth, but it's one that I always try and implement now. But guys, we're going to win this. We have to win this. But we have to win it by such a great margin. That it ends the campaign of the others. The reality is the games have to stop. But, the country has spoken. He's at 68% or 67% nationally in the polls. He's going to win this. But at the end of the day, it's not about that. We've got to beat Biden. Or whoever, I'm not even sure Biden makes it to the finish line, but, That's a great hat, by the way. That came from Trump store. Thank you. I don't know if that makes it to the finish line, right? And I think maybe they put Newsom, maybe they put somebody else, maybe they put Kamala. I hope they put Kamala with some issues. Pleasure to run against. You ever see that fake thing where they hire little model kids to talk about the space program? Did anybody see this? Honestly, that's your infomercial for Kamala Harris, and they literally hire these little kids. She's like, it's beautiful, space is so large, and it's great. We're going to get there. The whole thing was like a total act. It was a total sham. It was written out by her by some political consultant. This is literally what we have in the White House right now, and this country's got real problems, and there's a lot of great adversaries around the world that do not have our best interests at heart, and I say that in the kindest way possible. There are a lot of people who would love this country not to exist. There are people who want to take the U.S. dollar, and they want to extinguish the English language, and they want to have control over the entire world's economy, and they want to own every aspect of it. Those countries are pumping out fighter jets every single day. They're pumping out new warships every single day. They're taking territory in other places. They've got their eyes on places like Taiwan. You've got a lot of really big problems. Israel is surrounded by a bunch of countries that not only hate their way of life and their religion, but would certainly be willing to hurt us in the worst ways possible. And you have a guy who literally has been on vacation 40% of his presidency. Is the last one in the office, is the first one to leave, accomplishes nothing, can't walk off the stage, can't get up to the Air Force One, can't get through, and certainly couldn't do what the hell I'm doing right now, which is, does anybody see any notes here? I can promise you there's no... And the greatest fighter in the world is my father. In fact, it's kind of sometimes what he's actually criticized for. He's criticized for fighting too much, and we better have a fighter. This country needs a fighter like never before. We needed a fighter in 2016, but not nearly to the extent that we need a fighter right now, both to preserve what our country is and our number one position in the world, but also to preserve just core values. Those little kids right there, to preserve something from them, because we are going down an awfully tragic road. When you can have 6'5" males, guys my height, that are swimming in NCAA women's sports and beating records by 15 seconds and other things. It's not fair. It's not right. It's eroding society. We need God. We need family. We need Constitution. And we need a lot of common sense. A lot of common sense. So Iowa, we love you. I appreciate you. So good to be back. This time it's great to not be on the table at a pizza ranch, which is where it all started for me. And I'll tell you, I spoke standing on a table at every damn pizza ranch across. This place is awesome. It's actually got great chicken wings. I love that place. I normally speak that I was starving, and I'd wolf down pizza and wings, and then it would put you this food coma for the rest of the day. But we love you guys, and I promise we as a family will never stop fighting. As many arrows as they put in my back, as many arrows as they put in my mom's back, we'll never, ever stop fighting. And we're going to win this thing. And we love you guys very much. And God bless America. Thank you, guys.
Trial, are you convinced that the jurors are going to be able to make the right decision?
So I sit here today as a son.
forget about politics for a second. I've been in that courthouse with my father almost every single day, and not a single New Yorker, as they look at murders in the streets, women getting thrown in front of trains, kids getting shot in Times Square, the degradation of this city, not a single New Yorker believes that over $130,000 payment from 9 years ago, from 8 years ago, that the entire DA's office is lining that courtroom. They're sitting there, they're laughing, they're giggling. This was their moment. This is how they embarrassed Donald Trump. This is legal lawfare, all while this state absolutely melts. Everybody that sits here right now, every single one of you, knows that this is not the same state that we knew 10 years ago. Knew it was not the same state as we saw 5 years ago. You have total degradation of New York State because the only thing that Alvin Bragg wants to do, only thing that Letitia James wants to do is criminally prosecute Donald Trump. And they're doing it for one reason. They're doing it because they have a political vendetta. They're all funded by George Soros. That's what this is. This is political lawfare, and it absolutely has to stop. And I watch a man, he's the toughest man I've ever seen, and he endures this nonsense every single day. He sits in that seat, and that's not comfortable. He's never done a damn thing wrong. They tried to impeach him in D.C. They tried to impeach him a second time. They went after his Supreme Court justices. They turned the DOJ, they turned the FBI against him. They couldn't stop him. When that didn't work, guess what they did? They went after his family. They went after me. 110 subpoenas later that I've received. I've never gotten so much as a parking ticket. 110 subpoenas. They went after Don. They went after Laura. They went after little Barron Trump as a young kid, as a young teenager. They went after Tiffany Trump. They tried to make his life hell. And then they weaponized every single DA. They weaponized every AG in every far left area because Biden is incompetent and he's losing in all the polls. Across the board, he's losing in every quantifiable metric. Our country is going to hell. And this is their answer. Go after him for $130,000. And I want to say sorry to the jury that's in there. This has been the greatest colossal waste of time. I want to say thank you to the NYPD. You have thousands of officers down here. Thousands of officers down here that could be protecting our streets. Instead, they're guarding this courthouse against a sham trial. This has cost New York millions and millions and millions of dollars. And New York deserves so much better than this. And I cannot wait for the day that we win. We will. We're right. The entire country knows that this is nonsense. They don't buy it. A poll just came out from the New York Times. Even Democrats, the vast majority of Democrats, know that this case is a sham, and I think we're going to prevail. And I'm just proud of the toughest person I've ever met in my entire life for having the backbone and fortitude to go through this whole mess as uncomfortable as it's been. And I'm proud to have stood there every single second by his side in that freezing cold courtroom against unthinkable odds and a corrupt judge and people making a lot of money and this political witch hunt. He's an inspiration to me every single day, and he'll be vindicated. Thank you very much. Well, it's been a pretty somber mood, right? I mean, my father got shot at. Somebody took off half his ear. But I can tell you, my father's never been more determined than he is right now. He's more determined to make America great again. He's got an incredible fighting spirit, no different than when he was pumping his hand in the air with blood running across his face, and I'm really proud of him. I've never been more proud as a child, as a son. He's a remarkable human being. He's got backbone that's unlike any person I've ever met before, and as I said before, we're going to win, and we're going to restore prosperity to this country, and he's going to make America great again.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome businessman and Executive Vice President of the Trump Organization, Eric Trump.
Good evening, America. Eight years ago, my father sat our family down. He spoke of a nation in decline, of dreams slipping away, of a future endangered by failed leadership and broken promises. It was in that moment I knew my father had made a decision that would forever change our lives. We realized he had chosen to step into the arena. to fight for the soul of America. He decided to leave behind the comforts of an unbelievable business empire, to leave behind everything he had ever built, to answer the call to serve our nation. Unlike his predecessor, it was not a decision born out of necessity. Unlike the current president, it was not a decision that would enrich his family. Rather, it was a decision made out of love for this country and a deep concern for America's future. My father was clear it would not be easy, that there would be a huge price to pay, and that the attacks would be vicious. Looking back, that was an understatement. The made-up Russia hoax, the sham impeachments, the efforts to destroy an unbelievable company, a company that I run today, the efforts to cancel us, to silence him, to gag his free speech, and to drag him through every radical left courthouse in America, to take his life. Yet through it all, he's shown unwavering courage and determination, not just in public, but in every private conversation with me and our family. He stood tall, fueled not by personal ambition, but by a profound love for this country and a love for all of you, the American people. That man is my father. That man is the 45th president and soon to be 47th president of the United States. That man is Donald J. Trump. Each time I've stood on this stage, America has been at a dire crossroads. In 2016, many people began to doubt the promise of America. Our economy was struggling. Jobs were scarce. Our standing on the world stage was weak at best. Veterans were forgotten. Our military was in shambles. Our educational system was broken, ranked 30th in the world. He could no longer tolerate an inept administration that handed $150 billion to Iran, a country that chants death to America, or witness the continued attacks on our Constitution and our religious liberty, or see the disrespect shown to our unbelievable law enforcement officers who are being disarmed, defunded, and persecuted each and every day. He could no longer stand to see words like Christmas stripped from public use or the Pledge of Allegiance removed from our schools. But my father saw potential where others saw despair. Donald Trump built the New York City skyline. He did so during a time when businesses were turning away from the city he loved. Crime was rampant. The streets were dirty. But he had the Midas touch, and he turned those streets and neighborhoods into gold. He faced every challenge with tremendous vision and grit. As he did during the 2016 election, he rolled up his sleeves. He remained unapologetic. He did not care to be politically correct. He restored hope. He restored a voice to millions of Americans who had been ignored. He restored the American dream. Under my father's leadership, the economy climbed to record heights. Jobs were created at an unthinkable pace. Unemployment reached historic lows across all demographics. Wage growth soared. He cut taxes for hardworking families and businesses. He slashed regulations. We saw the greatest 401k increase in American history. People bought their first homes in an environment that saw 2 to 3% interest rates. They started their families. My father made the United States energy independent with the lowest gas prices in decades. My father made the United States safe. Our borders were closed. There was peace in the Middle East. Soleimani, al-Baghdadi, the terrorists were dead. My father made the United States respected again, with the courage to walk into countries like North Korea, with the courage to impose tariffs on China, and with the courage to tear up trade deals that cost Americans their jobs. He brought manufacturing back to America. Small businesses flourished. He did what he promised. He put America first. We were winning. Donald Trump made America great again. But he also created a movement that threatened the special interests in the political elites, a movement that cast a bright light on the institutions weaponized against the American people. You see it in our schools. God bless the moms who fought back. You see it in your workplace. You see it on every news station, in every newspaper. You see it in the military. The most iconic military installations on planet Earth are stripped of their identity and renamed. Fort Bragg, Benning, Fort Hood. You see it in Hollywood. You see it in our two-tier judicial system. They don't even hide it anymore. My father has been censored. The former president ripped off to Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, while terrorist organizations remain intact. My father has been persecuted, targeted by far-left Democrats, funded by special interest groups, and hand-picked judges. My father has been pulled off the ballots of states, radical justices attempting to defy the will of millions of Americans who adore who he is and what he stands for. My father even became the target of an assassin who almost killed America's single greatest hope for our future. The swamp is terrified of this incredible movement. They're terrified of it. They're terrified of you and the tens of millions of people watching us on TV right now. They've tried everything to keep him from you, everything, to destroy his legacy, to destroy his family. They have failed, and they will not win. I love my Florida delegation right here. Thank you, guys. My father stands before you with the most votes of any Republican candidate in the history of our nation. He has defied the predictions of every political pundit. He fills stadiums across our country. He energizes Americans to the issues facing this nation and does so with unvarnished honesty. He is not a threat to democracy. He is a threat to those who despise our republic, many whom are bought and sold, bribed and coerced, people who have never signed the front of a check and who have been dependent on the government their entire adult lives. Today, as it was in 2016, America's at that crossroads again. Energy prices are soaring. Interest rates are crippling. Everything is unaffordable. The U.S. dollar has been diminished. Inflation has made it impossible for Americans to live, to save for their future. Our infrastructure is crumbling. Our border is out of control. Millions are dead and displaced in Russia and Ukraine, a war that has no end and a war that we are funding. The Middle East has become a hornet's nest. Our greatest ally, Israel, totally under siege. Fentanyl is killing our youth and destroying families, while the current administration stands idly by, hoping their inaction will import illegal votes. Crime terrorizes our cities and our suburbs as far-left policies handcuff police. Male athletes, guys my height, 6'5", are swimming in women's sports. Destroying the dreams of young girls who have trained every minute of their lives. We no longer trust our elections. We no longer trust our judicial system. And we no longer believe that our government is working in our best interest. In spite of where we are today as a nation, I'd like to speak to every American. To the homeless veteran sleeping under a bridge as illegal immigrants are housed in the most expensive hotels in New York. I'm sorry. We know it's wrong, and we will fix it. To the single mother who can no longer afford her rent, afford groceries, and has been forced to work 3 jobs, I'm sorry. It does not have to be this way. To the parents who lost a son or daughter to fentanyl, including the incredible woman that spoke the other night, while an administration does absolutely nothing, I'm sorry. Your government can do so much better, and it will. To the children who are being brainwashed instead of learning the fundamentals in school, I'm sorry. There are teachers who care, and my father will empower them. To the law enforcement officers, our brave Border Patrol, Secret Service agents who work every single day to protect our communities, knowing damn well that the system will throw you under the bus, I'm sorry. We will stand behind you. To commuters often petrified to take a bus, take a train, or walk the streets in cities across our nation, I'm sorry. That man right there will fix this. To the construction workers, to the middle-class families, to the families with children with disabilities, families who can no longer afford medical benefits or to take a vacation, I'm sorry. We will make America great again. And to my father, who has been ruthlessly silenced, slandered, and attacked by a corrupt administration, I'm sorry. We know, and America knows, that they're not just after you, they're after all of us, and you just happen to be standing in their way. To all Americans watching tonight, the greatest retribution will be our success. Success not just for ourselves, but for our grandchildren and our children. Under President Donald J. Trump, the swamp will be drained. America will be respected. Our cities will be safe. Our streets will be clean. And our border will once again be secure. We will have peace. We will have prosperity. Your hard-earned tax dollars will enrich a better America, not be squandered in corrupt foreign nations. Education will be handed back to the states. We will no longer be 30th in the world. We will be first. Our children will understand family, our children will have values, and our children will love God. Our country will prioritize free speech, respect freedom of religion, and honor our Constitution. As his son, I've never been more proud of a person in my life. A man who has defied all odds more than once. A man who believed in the promise of America when others turned away. A man who saw a nation in need of a champion and answered that call with unwavering determination and courage. A man who survived a bullet that was intended to eliminate him permanently from our future and from our family. Never have I been more proud to be a Trump. Never have I been more proud to stand by my father's side. I remain incredibly honored to be part of this journey, a journey with all of you, a journey to save the greatest country on earth, a journey with the most incredible people I have ever met. Dad, 5 days ago, Laura, Luke, Carolina, and I held our breath as we saw blood pour across your face. By the grace of God, divine intervention, and your guardian angels above, you survived. You are the greatest fighter I have ever seen. You are strong, you are full of life, and you are unapologetic. Your optimism is contagious. Your backbone is unbreakable. Your conviction to fight for what is right and against all that is wrong is truly next level. The whole world saw your strength as you stood up. You wiped the blood off your face, and you put your fist in the air in a moment that will be remembered as one of the most courageous acts in the history of American politics. You shouted, "Fight! Fight! Fight!" I'm honored to be your son. I'm honored to speak to our great nation tonight. You are a true leader. You epitomize strength. Our country loves you. Our country appreciates you. Our country misses you. And on November 5th, our country will re-elect you as the 47th President of the United States of America. Good night, Milwaukee. God bless you all. Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania, I've never been more proud to be anywhere in my life than I am today here with you on this stage. This is a big family. They tried to take away someone we all love, and they did take away someone we love in Corey, an incredible man. His family's backstage. It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. They've tried to get my father every single second since he went down that golden escalator. Laura and I have witnessed it every single day. They tried to smear us. They tried to bankrupt us. They came after us. They impeached him twice. They went after his Supreme Court justices. They weaponized the entire legal system. The Russia hoax, the dirty dossiers. You remember every single one of them. Far left AGs, far left DAs in every far left place in this country went after my father. They tried to pull him off the ballot in Colorado. They tried to pull him off the ballot in Maine. And it has not worked. And then, guys, they tried to kill him. They tried to kill him. And it's because the Democratic Party, they can't do anything right. They can't do anything right. You see it this week in the FEMA response in North Carolina, and in Georgia, and in South Carolina, and in Florida. You have people's houses floating down rivers. And what does Kamala do? She comes out and says, yes, I'd like to give that family $750. We send $200 billion over to Ukraine so beautiful young kids can shoot at each other in trenches. $200 billion. We give hundreds of billions of dollars to Pakistan. They wouldn't tell us that bin Laden was literally a mile away from their equivalent of West Point. We send hundreds of billions of dollars to them. We gave $150 billion to Iran, a country that chants death to America. And Kamala Harris comes out and says, we're going to give $750 to the person who lost their house in a mudslide. Guys, this isn't America first. This is America last. But the good news, help is on the way. And help is on the way from the bravest person I have ever met in my entire life. My father's been the greatest father a person could ever have. He's been an inspiration to this entire country. And he was an inspiration here in Butler when he stood up with blood running down his face and said, fight, fight, fight. I love all of you so much. I really mean it. This is a family. This isn't politics, guys. Guys, this isn't politics. This isn't politics. This is a movement of absolute love of hundreds of millions of people who want to save the United States, who want to keep our country number one at absolutely everything we do. And that's why we're going to re-elect Donald Trump as the 47th President of the United States. Guys, we love you. And to a woman that is doing a truly great job in every aspect of life, from being a great wife to an unbelievable mother. By the way, I think Caroline and Luke Trump are the most popular Trumps right now. Did you guys see them a couple weeks ago? Vote for Grandpa. Make America great again. But she's doing a hell of a job as the RNC co-chair. You know, I get to go to bed every single night and wake up every single morning listening about voter integrity. It's really great. I'm really, really excited for November 6th when Laura can turn over in the morning and not talk about voter integrity.
but she's doing a hell of a job. Ladies and gentlemen, Laura Trump.
All right, Pennsylvania. Is anybody here ready to send Donald J. Trump back to the White House? Well, we're 31 days away. 1 month from right now, as Donald Trump always says, will be the most important day in the history of America, because this is a pivotal moment for our country. And I don't even have to tell anybody that here. We can all feel it. This is no longer a fight between Republican versus Democrat, left versus right. It is good versus evil. And good is going to win this battle, ladies and gentlemen. And if you had any question whether God exists and he performs miracles, we got our answer here on July 13th, right here in Butler, Pennsylvania. He spared Donald Trump's life because he was not finished with Donald Trump. And he did it not once, but twice. And I've said it time and time again, but now you feel it more than ever. Donald Trump was made for such a time as this. It's such an honor to be back here in Butler. And you know, I knew before Donald Trump even said he wanted to come back here that he would come back to Butler, Pennsylvania, because in life, you can operate with fear and cowardice, or you can operate with strength and faith. And that's what Donald Trump operates with, strength and faith. And that's the kind of leader we need to see back at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. We need strength in this country. And Eric's right. I've been doing a little something with making sure that we have free, fair, and transparent elections, and that only legal citizens are voting in our elections here in the United States of America. That's okay. It's been the #1 focus of the RNC since I took over alongside our chairman, Michael Whatley, back in March. We have had a big goal of recruiting 100,000 people to volunteer as poll watchers, poll workers, legal experts on the ground. And we said, I don't know, 100,000 is a lot. I'm happy to report that we have trained 200,000 people across this country to do that. So our message is very clear. If you are a person who is considering cheating in our elections, we will find you. We will track you down, and we will prosecute you to the full extent of the law. And if you're an illegal citizen voting in our election, we'll track you down and prosecute you to the full extent of the law, and you're leaving this country. How's that sound? Don't do it. It's not worth it. But real quick, before I go, is everybody in this crowd registered to vote? Well, it could be that you've heard of someone who's been doing so much voter registration right here in Pennsylvania. His name is Scott Pressler. And he has done an incredible job. We have flipped Bucks County and Luzerne County from Democrat to Republican in terms of voter registration. And I would like to invite my friend Scott Pressler to come up and say a few words to you folks, if you would welcome him, please, to the stage right now. And he wore shorts for us today, so check out his legs. Look at this. Yes.
I wish I didn't wear shorts today. Mom and Dad, I honor you on the stage today, Captain Robert Pressler and my mom, Carol Pressler. Pennsylvania, you have the power to change the world. Pennsylvania wins the White House, and so please, I ask you today, please check your voter status, make sure you're an active voter registered at your current address, and please visit vote.pa.gov and register to vote today. A message to our union workers: we want your vote. We want to keep jobs here in America. To our beautiful Amish and Lancaster and across the state, we will protect your raw milk, your dairy, your farming, your school choice, your religious freedom, your ability to afford to have 10 beautiful children per family. To our hunters, 30% of you are not registered to vote. Please, our hunters, support the Second Amendment, register to vote. To our truckers that service us every single day, please request a mail-in ballot or vote early, lock in those votes. To our sorority sisters and our fraternity brothers, please, you have the power. If you're going to school here in Pennsylvania, register to vote legally and lawfully here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. I feel this from the top of my head to the tip of my toes. I love our great country. President Trump took a bullet for us. Please use your ballot and have his back on Tuesday, November 5th, and deliver Pennsylvania for Donald J. Trump. Thank you.
All right, before we go, what we're going to do here today, ladies and gentlemen, is we're going to make a new memory in Butler, Pennsylvania. And this will mark the moment that this election was won for Donald J. Trump. Let's send him back to the White House on November 5th. We love you, Pennsylvania. Thank you. God bless.
North Carolina. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you're at the right rally. Can you believe that comment yesterday? Somebody went out and says, Jesus is king. And what did Kamala say? You're at the wrong rally. Well, everybody in here, you're at the right rally. Guys, this isn't about politics. This isn't about politics. We've all seen political campaigns. This has become a movement of absolute love. It started as politics, but this is no longer that. This is so much bigger than that. And I want to tell a story that I'm not sure if I've ever told in front of a big crowd, but I'll never forget. It was the primaries of 2016, and Mike Huckabee just came off the stage from one of the debates, and he comes up to me and he goes, Eric, I'm going to drop out of this race because I feel the hand of God on your father's shoulders. And I'll never forget that. And honestly, I'm not sure if I knew what it meant at the time, but I certainly do today. Between the dirty dossiers, between the fake impeachments, what they did to Brett Kavanaugh, the way they went after our family, the 111 subpoenas that I've personally gotten, the fact that they tried to throw him off the ballots in Colorado, they tried to throw him off the ballots in Maine, they raided his home, they raided Melania's closet, they raided Barron's room, they censored him, they tried to take away his First Amendment, they went after him, they took him off of Twitter, they took him off of Facebook, they took him off of Instagram, they weaponized every district attorney, every attorney general in far-left states against my father. And yet, in the darkest moments, guys, in the darkest moments, I felt it every single time. I felt it standing behind him in freezing cold courtrooms. In the darkest moments you can have possibly imagined, there was always this miraculous light. The last one being Butler, Pennsylvania. when about a minute before that awful attempt at his life, and he was saved, and somebody was watching down on him, that beautiful American flag folded up like a perfect angel right above his head. If there is no greater sign that there is a God out there, I don't know what is. I don't know what is. It is so clear to me, more so than ever before, that he was put here for this mission to save this country. We need God in our life. We need God in society. We need children to respect God. We need God in our schools. And if Kamala Harris won't say it, I will. We love God, and we will always be a nation of faith. And to all the incredible pastors in here, I'm so honored to have a small part in putting together this event, because I don't think there's anything that's more important to us as a country than to have all of you stand here. Guys, we're going to win this. We're going to win this. We're no longer going to have Obama weaponizing the IRS to go after churches and to go after faith leaders. We're no longer going to try and remove the words "under God" from the Pledge of Allegiance, or "in God we trust" from our currency. We're no longer going to do this. We're going to allow people to worship God as they see fit. And we're going to return to a nation of faith. So to everybody in North Carolina, I love you. I named my daughter after this incredible state. My wife's from here, a couple hours away on the coast. To our incredible team from Trump National Charlotte, sitting over here, by the way. We're just down the road on Lake Norman. But to all of you, I love you. And to one more person, to my father, who's right behind that curtain back there. The man has amazed me every single day of my life. Before politics, his vigor, his endurance amazed me as I've watched through every single sham, as I've watched every arrow that he's taken in the back, when I watch his schedule every single day. It's funny, oftentimes you see these New York Times reporters, right? They come out and, does Donald Trump have the stamina? And after, the third rally, they're sitting in a corner sleeping with 5 Red Bulls around them, right? And the guy never stops. He's been an inspiration to me. He's an inspiration to our entire family. I have never been more proud to stand on a stage with anybody in my life, and I will stand on the stage with him until I am literally dead. Our entire family is so proud of him, but this entire country is so proud of him. So, guys, we love you. We appreciate you. God bless you. And God bless the greatest country in the world, the United States of America. Thanks, North Carolina. We love you too. We love you too. This is so much more than a political movement. This is the greatest family in the world. We are fighting for a country we love. We are fighting for the American flag. We are fighting for the Constitution. We are fighting for our liberty. And as a family, we've been out there every single day over the last 10 years. They've tried everything they could to destroy my father, to destroy us. Dirty dossiers, Russian hoaxes. They tried to impeach him twice. They went after his Supreme Court nominees. They threw him off of Facebook. They threw him off of Twitter. They threw him off of Instagram. They tried to take away his First Amendment right. Guys, they tried absolutely everything. They weaponized every DA and every AG in this country to try and take down my father. Here in New York, they did exactly that. Alvin Bragg, Letitia James. They tried to destroy his life. They tried to take him off the ballot in Colorado. They tried to take him off the ballot in Maine. They tried to subdue the vote of literally hundreds of millions of Americans who absolutely adore the guy. Guys, it's been political lawfare every single day. And then somebody tried to kill him. And despite that, every single time he stands up and he says, fight, fight, fight. And how do you think it feels for them as we're back at Madison Square Garden, the greatest arena anywhere in the world? Guys, I saw the Rangers play here and win the Cup in '94. Every Knicks game, every concert, the greatest arena anywhere in the world. And you better believe the entire party who has failed at taking down Donald Trump, an entire party who has failed at taking down his family, they're sitting there on those cameras right now, watching all of us, watching all of you. Almost 200,000 people tried to get into this event tonight. The streets, Fifth Avenue, all the way from Trump Tower, all the way down to Madison Square Garden, 10 people deep. That's how much love there is in the greatest city anywhere in the world. Guys, in 9 days, we're gonna win. We're gonna win. And not only is he going to make America great again, he's going to make New York City great again. So on behalf of our entire family, thank you. Thank you for being on the greatest ride I could have ever possibly been a part of. Thank you for 10 incredible years. I want you to know, and I speak on behalf of my entire family, I want you to know that we will never stop fighting. My father will never stop fighting. Laura will never stop fighting. I'll never stop fighting. We live in the greatest country in the world. We are not going to allow that to slip away. And I promise you guys the best days of this nation are ahead of us. I love you very much. New York, it's an honor to be here.
All right, y'all aren't done with us just yet. I'll say a few things if that's okay with everybody here. Can I just say how honored I am to be the co-chair of the Republican National Committee for you guys? I'll tell you something, we're making sure that we have free, fair, and transparent elections and nobody's cheating in 2024. Guys, we are 9 days away from making sure we send a loud and clear message to the mainstream media, to the establishment, to the Democrats, to Hollywood, that it is not them. It is we, the people, who choose our president, and we're choosing Donald J. Trump. And I gotta tell you, it is incredible to be here in Madison Square Garden in New York City, the greatest city on earth, in the greatest country on earth, the United States of America. Because if you think about it, New York City made Donald Trump, right? But Donald Trump also made New York City.
Yeah.
He changed the skyline of this city, rebuilt it, Remember whenever they couldn't get an ice skating rink, Woolman Rink in Central Park? Donald Trump rebuilt the ice skating rink for New York City. By the way, under budget and ahead of schedule, if I'm not mistaken, because that's how we like to do things in the Trump family. And when nobody else was doing it, Donald Trump put his heart and soul right here in New York City. It's true, and this is the city that made him a household name. This is the city that put Donald Trump in so many rap songs, by the way, right? And truly made him the American dream. But I'll tell you something, being a New Yorker teaches you something else, doesn't it? It teaches you how to be tough. It teaches you that it doesn't matter how hard you get hit, you get back up and you keep fighting. When they impeach you, you keep fighting. When they indict you, you keep fighting. When they take a mugshot of you, the greatest mugshot in the history of the world, you keep fighting. And when an assassin's bullet strikes you, you don't lay down. You get up, you stand strong, and you keep fighting, right? Now, in case you guys don't know, Donald Trump likes to go places nobody expects him. Anybody hear about a little rally up the street in the Bronx? Yeah. Does anybody know the last time a Republican president campaigned in the Bronx? It was Ronald Reagan, and ladies and gentlemen, he turned New York red. I'm just saying. It is the honor of my life to be part of this movement, and Eric is right. This is not just about politics. We are all a big family, and we're a family who loves this country. And I can tell you something, 9 days from now, it is going to be the sweetest comeback, because we know the art of the deal. We also know the art of the comeback from Donald Trump that this country has ever seen. Everybody get out, vote early, take a friend to vote. Let's make America great again. We love you, New York.
Well, Donald Trump is in the house, so let's make some noise for the greatest president the United States have ever had. Guys, they have done everything to try and take him away from this country. They have tried to do everything to take him away from our family. And tomorrow, we vindicate ourselves, all of us. I have truly never been more proud of an individual in my life. I really mean that sincerely. The guy has more vigor. The guy has more energy. The guy has more backbone than any person I have ever seen before. I mean, the guy just doesn't stop. He doesn't stop. Well, we love you too. We love you too. Thank you, my man. Guys, they tried everything. They tried the Russia hoax. They tried dirty dossiers. They impeached him the first time. They impeached him the second time. They went after his Supreme Court candidates. They tried to take away his First Amendment right. They took him off of Twitter. They took him off of Facebook. They took him off of Instagram. They raided his home. They raided Melania's closet. They raided Barron's room. They subpoenaed me 111 times. When that didn't work, you know what they did? They tried to take him off the ballot in Colorado. Then they tried to take him off the ballot in Maine. When that didn't work, they weaponized every single AG and DA around the country to go after him, to criminally prosecute him. And you know what? When that didn't work, some madman tried to take his life. And the whole time, guys, he stood up and he said 3 simple words: fight, fight, fight. You know what, guys? The fight isn't over. The fight is just beginning. Tomorrow, we take back the United States of America. We restore all the things we love, the greatest economy, the greatest Constitution, love of the American flag, love of the Second Amendment, love of family, love of God. Guys, we take it all back. You know, Sarah just said it. We win Pennsylvania, we win the entire country. If we win Pennsylvania, we win the United States of America. And so, guys, thank you for the greatest 10 years of my life. Thank you for the support of my father. I can't tell you how much it means to him. I can't tell you how much it means to our family. We love you. We love you. We love you. God bless all of you. God bless you. God bless the United States of America. Let's make America great again. Thank you, Pennsylvania. Thank you, guys.
Let me see how they're doing. And they were doing horribly, because I didn't need to do this. And they were doing horribly. And I said to the family, I said to Melania, Barron, and I said to Ivanka, I said to everybody, I said, I think we got to do it again. We had, think of it, if I would have done badly in 2020, I wouldn't do it. It would have been easier. But we all know how well we did. And I said, we got to do it again, only because I looked at the incompetence, Afghanistan, you know, all these things that were happening. You take a look at it. You take a look at how bad, nothing good was happening. We were disrespected all over the world. Other countries laugh at us right now, and now they're laughing harder than they've ever laughed before. And we're not going to let anybody laugh at us. It's not going to happen. So I said, let's do it. Let's give it a shot. And now the people, and it was, you know, quite contentious because she had some people, but now those people are real friends of ours again. And we have a party that's very well united. And most importantly, we're going to show up and vote tomorrow. And if you do, you're going to win. I mean, you know, the ball's in our court. You know, as they say in athletics, the ball is in our court. All we have to do is get out and vote, and we walk away with the greatest political event in history, but much more important, it's going to be the event that saves our country. Okay? So, thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. They're really good kids. They're really good. That's not to say that I didn't have little difficulty with them on occasion. Especially Don, but no, I'm only kidding. No, good speeches, good job. Thank you, kids. I'll see you later. Good. Thank you very much. And your father, thank you. Thank you. I didn't know what was happening. I saw all these cameras turned. I say, why are those cameras being turned away from me? What's going on? But, you know, in a way, they become stars. They're just great. They're great people. And, you know, they do it because they love the country. They love it. Thank you very much, all. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. So here are the facts. And Kamala, now we have to talk. Oh, bring them up. Okay, come on, let's go. They all want me to bring them up. There's a lot of love. Come here, my boy. Come here, my beautiful boy.
We are 24 hours away from sending the greatest president this country's ever seen back to the White House. And I just want to say how much love we truly feel from everyone in Pennsylvania, but truly across the country. You guys are our family. We love you. God bless you. We are here fighting by your side, not just now, but forever, because we are so blessed to live in the greatest country on earth, the United States of America. We love you guys. Thank you.
This man right here is the greatest warrior America has ever seen. And our family is so damn proud of him. We will fight on this stage for as long as we're here. We're always going to fight for the greatest country in the world, which is the United States of America. Let's go win this, Pennsylvania.
Guys, for us, this has been an honor of a lifetime. You guys are the best, but now it's up to you. We can't do it by ourselves. It was always about all of us. It was about one country. It was about taking back our freedom, our rights from those who are trying to take away from us. So tomorrow, bring your friends, stay in line. Let's vote, vote, vote. Let's take back our country. Thank you, Pennsylvania, and thank you, America. God bless all of you.
Hello. Well, we love you. We support you. And my father's here fighting for you, and he's never going to let you down. So please vote. Let's get this country back on track. Thank you so much.
I shouldn't have done that. I got to follow that now. I'm not going to follow that. So, kids, go back to work. Let's make sure everybody shows up tomorrow to vote, okay? Thank you. Thank you. Beautiful job. They're great. They're great. They're good people, and they love our country, but they really are good people. They're kind people. They have big hearts. They're strong. They can be nasty, but they have big hearts, those great children of mine.
Are we ready to turn Michigan red today? Today is the day that we send a loud and clear message to the mainstream media, to the establishment, to Hollywood, to the swamp, that it is not them. It is we, the people, who get to choose our president. And we're choosing Donald J. Trump. I just want to say thank you. This is a very special night for our family. This has been almost a decade of doing this, and it has been my honor to be a part of this family, to be out speaking on behalf of a man who I love, not just because he's my father-in-law, but because he is going to save this country and going to save the world. Thank you, guys. God bless you. Get everybody out to vote. Thank you, Michigan.
Thank you, guys. Today, when you wake up with not very much sleep, you gotta get to the polls. You gotta bring your friends and your families and your loved ones, and we have to make it too big to rig. Guys, it's simple. It's a unique election. You've lived under both candidates. People like to pretend like it's not the Harris-Biden regime that has destroyed your American dream, our country, our economy, the entire world, and Western civilization. Well, you guys, starting right now, it's on you to reclaim what is yours, your country. It would be an honor for me, for you guys to show the same amount of resolve that this man showed on July 13th when he took a bullet to the face and came back defiant. You guys take that attitude to the polls, to your text messages to your friends. If you've early voted, drive everyone you know to the polls. That resolve is what kept us at peace. That resolve is what made trade deals. That resolve's going to save America, and it's going to put America first again, once and for all. So guys, now it's up to you. You make our country proud like he makes us proud each and every day. Let's get it done, America. Let's get it done, Michigan. Let's go.
Well, good morning, Michigan. Who else could have this many people at 2 a.m.? Only Donald Trump. Guys, I've watched the hell that they put him through for the last 10 years. I mean, the fake impeachments, the dossiers, the Russia hoax, going after his Supreme Court justices, censoring him, taking away his First Amendment right, trying to take him off the ballots in various states all across the country, raiding his home. And yet he comes out every single day and he fights and he fights and he fights. And when other candidates have packed it in for the night, you know who's standing on the stage at 2 a.m.? It's Donald Trump. America, it's time for us to pick our fighter, and it's that man right there. And I can tell you, as a son, as a family, we have never been more proud of a person in our life. I have never been more proud to stand on a stage with somebody in my life. He's the most remarkable man I know, and I promise you I will be on the stage till the end of earth with you because I truly believe in you. And I believe what you're doing for this country and what you're doing for our children, and you are going to save democracy in the United States, and you're going to keep peace in the world, and I love you, and we're proud of you, and let's make America great again. Thank you, Michigan.
Hello. So my father has never stopped, and he will never stop working for you guys. So let's get out there, let's vote for prosperity, let's vote for the future that we want to have for our children and for our future generations. Thank you.